Welcome to the thrilling world of the Flying Runr, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hey there, everyone. It's Tony here from the Flying Runr podcast. And today I'm talking about being cautious with carbon plates. Welcome to Out and Back. And Out and Back is your turnaround point for your weekly running journey. Now, most runners have heard about the impact that carbon plates are having in our running shoes. We've got race shoes, and now we've got a category called super trainers that have the carbon plate in them. And the impact that we're hearing and seeing world records being broken on a very regular basis. And we're also hearing that the carbon plated super trainers are really good in terms of allowing a runner to be able to be more effective in their running and their training. Now, carbon plated shoes have been designed for a couple of different things. They're designed for increased energy return. So it helps the runner journey by getting that increase of energy. The carbon plate stiffens the shoe to some respects and acts as a bit of a propulsion as you're coming out of your running stride. It helps with your running economy. You get better propulsion, as I mentioned. It reduces your fatigue. Well, they're designed to reduce your fatigue so you can train longer and potentially harder. They have an enhanced or an inherent stability in most of the shoes, and I'll talk through that in a little bit. They're lightweight, and importantly, they give confidence to runners. So if you're lining up at a starting line in a marathon, you really need to have that sense of confidence that your training's been good and that you're in the right gear, and carbon-plated shoes can help with a runner's confidence. They're also been designed or have proven to take some load off the ankle, right? So as they people go into training and people running long runs, it helps take some of that load off the ankle, which is important for what I'm going to share a little bit later on. Now, there's a lot of positives that we're hearing about it. There are some studies in relation to the long-term impacts of carbon-plated shoes. So not a great deal of data exists with that. There are some anecdotes and whatnot, but ultimately, hopefully the research comes out and we can start to analyze and make a really informed decision around potential impacts versus potential benefits. So let's, for those people that are on audio, this the episode is available on video on both Spotify and YouTube. And it might be important for you to go back and have a look, because I am going to show you a couple of shoes now. So this is a carbon-plated racing shoe. It is the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. It weighs 7.2 ounces in the men's size 9 and 6.2 ounces in the ladies' size 8. So it's a lightweight shoe. And you can see on the outsole, you can hear and feel the carbon plate, right? So it has got, this particular shoe has got a 39.5 mil of stack height in the heel. And on the forefront, it's 31.5. So you've got a drop of 8 mil. Designed for races, it's a very lightweight shoe. Probably not a shoe that you're going to be doing a lot of long running in. It's designed for race day and designed to primarily for speedy runners, for really quick runners to get benefit out of the carbon plate. Now, we now have a category called super trainers. Most of the major manufacturers have them. But before I go into that, I'm just going to show the difference. So this is my long run shoe that you may have heard me talk about. This is the Saucony Tempest. Once again, with the Tempest, you're looking at a 9-ounce shoe, so it is lightweight. It's a stability shoe. It does have some performance built into it, which is one of the reasons why it is my favorite shoe. 37 mil of stack height in the heel, 29 in the forefoot, and you've got an 8 mil drop. So most of my shoes are 8 mil drops, and it just seems to suit what it is that I'm doing with my running. So that's the Tempest. No carbon plate in the Tempest. And that one's done about 250k in it. Now this is a super trainer. It is the Convara Pro, and as you can see, it's quite a shoe, right? It's got 42 mil of stack in the heel, 34 at the front. Once again, 8 mil drop, and you can see the carbon plate. Also noticeable is that you have seen no rubber on the outsole. So it is a shoe that weighs 10.1 ounces. So in the heavier side of things, when it comes to carbon plated super trainers, it's quite a heavy style of shoe. And if we were to look at these together, you can see that in comparison to the Tempest, it's a big shoe, right? So you can see the difference in the stack height. Yes. So when it comes to the Convara Pro, a lot of the influencers and experts are really quite confused or bemused about what the shoe is actually designed for. It's not per se a fast shoe. Some of the influencers have called it a great recovery shoe for after your long runs. But it also has what they call inherent stability within the shoe. So a lot of stability shoe, whereas most carbon plated shoes are for the neutral foot. So a lot of the stability shoe wearers have gone to the Convara Pro because it's got the inbuilt, the inherent stability within it. Now, the Convara Pro is a great shoe, and I loved it. I tried it in Chicago. I put it on in Chicago. It felt really good. It feels really comfy. It is a big shoe, and that as a big shoe, big stack, big width of the shoe, it does provide you with some confidence. Now, Saucony themselves market that shoe for 99% of your runs, not 1%. And I'm going to give you some advice that may find the way to that. So just from my experience, as you know, coming back from quite a severe ankle and foot injury, once again, you hear things like carbon plates take some load off your ankle, and it's a great recovery shoe. So you hear these things, you try the shoe on, it feels good, and you think, okay, I can probably wear this as part of my recovery from injury. My experience has been that it's probably not a shoe to be wearing coming out of an ankle or a foot injury. And I would find that in particularly in my longer runs as part of my rehab, I would actually feel a fair bit of discomfort after the run. And I don't know whether that was I was trying too much too early or whether it actually had some shoe impact. But I went back into my Tempest for some of my longer runs, and I didn't find the discomfort as bad. So based on personal experience and personal experience only, I would probably not recommend not recommend running in a carbon plated shoe if you're coming back from injury. So just be a little bit cautious, hence the title of the Out and Back. So just some general tips if you are wanting to move into a carbon plated shoe, because as you know, carbon plated shoes are allowing people to be more effective and recover easily from training sessions. So there are some positives. And as we learn more about them, maybe there'll be some more impacts around, more research around potential impacts. But first piece of advice, allow your body to adapt. It's like everything. When I went from an 11 mil drop to an 8, I had to stage that in because otherwise that would create some pain in my calves if I was dropping down. So I had to bring the 8 mil drop shoes in while still wearing my 11 mil drops, which were the Brooks Adrenalines. So it's like carbon shoes. Take your time to adapt. Don't just put them on and have them there for every run. Start the journey slowly, maybe with some smaller runs, maybe with some less impactful runs. So just take time to adapt, allow your body to adapt to them. It's likely not going to be an everyday running shoe, so just keep that in your back of your mind. Don't keep lacing up, or don't go out and chase carbon plated shoes. They are quite expensive. I don't believe that they're likely to become your everyday trainer. One of the aspects that is a positive around the carbon plated shoes is the ability to recover quicker from long runs. Piece of advice: just because you're recovering quicker doesn't mean you start training harder and longer. It may have a detrimental effect. The shoes may be helping you in your training journey, but remember, you're not unbreakable. So certainly don't start thinking that you are, and that you start training longer, harder, because ultimately, as you know, a good training plan needs some great variations around rest days and effort days. And you just need to be confident and hold yourself back in some respects. If the shoes are making you feel bulletproof, that may be the day you take a rest. So not everyone's going to gain a benefit from a carbon plated shoe. If you're a quick runner on race day, of course you will gain a benefit, but the slower you are, the less benefit you'll get. So in the super trainers, they're designed to help you recover quicker, so you'll probably get a benefit from them. But on a race shoe, you're not going to suddenly go from a 4-hour marathon into the realms of 2-hour marathons. It's highly unlikely. So just be mindful of that. Don't ignore strength exercising in any plan that you do. It's a real positive for runners to be going through strength exercising, and just be mindful of energy return that you're getting from the shoe. If it may start to impact you in areas that you never thought of, things like your glutes, your hips may start feeling a little bit of discomfort as you're running more and more in your carbon plated trainers. And that potentially could be because of the increased energy return that you're getting. And my final tip, of course, is to exercise caution if you're coming back from injury. It may be better to stick with an old favorite shoe as you start to build back in your rehab. So I hope there were some tips there, and I hope that you've, if you are running in carbon plated shoes and love them, keep going. Of course, running is often quite about confidence. So if you love your shoes, go for it. I'm not telling you to stop doing that. Just exercise some caution. There is some caution in relation to carbon plated shoes. So I hope you've enjoyed this second episode of Out and Back. I hope to see you out there. Happy running.